Hello everyone, welcome to a special one-off edition of Let's Learn the Track here at Long Beach. Now, we're doing it in the Lamborghini because that's what everybody's driving at the moment, but what I'm going to go through on this video is transferable to any other GT3 car, or any other car for that matter. The braking markers and reference points are going to be the same. So, the setup we're using is a modified baseline setup. I'll go through that in the video. The time you're going to see isn't the quickest time out there. I've gone quicker, and there are guys that are much quicker than I am. So, I'm not the quickest, but it should help you. There are a couple of places at Long Beach where you can gain quite a bit of time, and I'm going to show you those in this video. But before we do, I'm going to give a shout out to my painter, Tam Livery. He's hooked me up with this paint for my Lamborghini, and as you can see, I think this paint looks absolutely stunning on this car. So Tam Livery, thank you. I will leave a link to Tam's Facebook page in the video description. Anyway, enough waffling. Let's get on with it. Right, so first let's have a look at the setup. I have made a couple of very small changes from the iRacing high downforce sprint setup. Now, on the chassis page, I have increased the brake bias to 52.2 just to stop it turning a little bit too much when you're trail braking. I've also lowered the spring rate at the rear to 220, and I've just taken some fuel out to 38 litres just to get us through this week's races in the tin top teardown or whatever it's called. So they're the only changes that I've made. As a result of that, the car is a little bit understeery, but if you get the car settled before the turn, it's not too bad. Right, so it's a while since I've done one of these, so bear with me. So I've got the controls on the bottom so you can see my braking inputs. So session best lap, we'll leave that there. So, pit exit at Long Beach. It's not too bad. So obviously the green cone here is where the pit lane ends, and we can turn off the pit limiter. So then we're flying all the way down here. So this is the main straight. This is probably one of the main overtaking opportunities at Long Beach. There's a blue line there on the left. So you can see that there, so you need to stay on the right of the blue line and go all the way down. The blue line stops, which is a little bit confusing. We'll keep going all the way down, follow the same line to this blue cone, and you can see a blue line just there. That's the point where we can then join the circuit. But bear in mind that right here is turn number 1, so people are going to be on the racing line there. So if you do need to come out the pits, just bear that in mind. So we'll talk about this section next time by, but there's not a lot to it here. We're up here in second gear, maybe into third, and then we're braking down into first gear for this one. But you can't go too high on here because there's a bit of a curb there that unsettles the car, so you've just got to watch that. And then back on the gas really quickly for this right-hander. Now, get the car right over to the left, and these signs on the left-hand side here are a good reference point for your turning. So you want to be braking just before that, get your braking done nice and early. Then this is going to be the turning point. You can cut this curb, but just bear in mind that if you cut it too much, the car might jump and you'll be right into that wall, as those marks would testify. So then it's a sprint up to this turn here. Again, where the signs are on the left, that's your turning point. There's 2 lines for this corner. I'll just move the car around so you can see. So we've got the curbs there, so we can go round the curbs, or we can cut it. You don't get off track. Now, when you cut it, you've got to get your line right, because if you don't, these curbs are quite harsh. So you can cut through here and not get off track. iRacing might change that. You might get a slowdown at some point in the future, but at the moment, that's the line. And then it's all the way up here, accelerating all the way. Move the car over to the right hand side, and we're braking just before the 200. Down into second gear, and then we're going to apex this one quite late, nice and tight up against this wall on the inside, and let the car run out wide. But there are some bumps on exit, so you might have to just feather the throttle just to stop it wheel spinning, maybe even short shift up to third gear, and then we're going to hit the car right back over to the left hand side for this next right. Now, a late apex here is so important because there's a long straight after this one, so we're going to be braking at the 200 or just before, and then we're going to be all the way down here, then apexing this one really late, cutting this curb, and then getting on the gas nice and early. for the run up the straight. So we're accelerating all the way up here. And my braking marker is between the 400 and the 300. And again, there are a couple of lines to take through here. You can brake a little bit later if needs be and turn in a little bit later, or you can turn in a bit earlier and cut the curb. So between the 300 and the 400, so we're braking all the way down, so you can cut this curb again, but you will get a slowdown if you cut this one too much. Bear that in mind. And these curbs, yeah, they're bumpy, but they're not too bad at speed. They're not too bad. And then they get the car over to the right, and then we're just going to be easing off the gas, just a little bit of brake, just to help the car slow down. Here it's quite easy to over-rotate. This is very similar to, or reminds me of the double left at Belle Isle, which is followed by a right immediately after as well. So when we get the car round here, we want the car right over to the left-hand side. And just at the end of these curbs, that's when we're going to start turning in and braking. Nice and close to the wall on the right-hand side. And then get the car settled and then accelerate out. And then that's a lap. Now, just for info, I've lowered the steering rotation on my wheel to 540 degrees. It just makes going around that turn a bit easier. So anyway, starting the new lap. So we're flat out up here, just going to be clicking into 6th gear just as we get around this turn. My braking marker is around about the 400 on the right hand side. So look for the signs there. So we've got 500 there. Another thing which is very, very important is the pit lane line. So as I mentioned, when you're leaving the pits, you will get a penalty if you cross it to the left. In the same breath, if you're on a flying lap and you encroach into the pit lane, you will get a slowdown. So bear that in mind. So stay to the left of the blue line. So we're braking at the 400, down all the way into 2nd gear, braking in a straight line, apexing this one quite late. And as soon as we get to this point, as soon as we get to the apex on this turn, you want to be on the gas. Really early, get on the gas, because the track then moves across to the right and it almost opens up. So then here, just in between that wall on the right that we've just passed. So there's the signs on the right hand side there, you can see them. And the signs on the left. So just as you go into the middle of those signs, that's when I start braking down into 1st gear. So as close as you can to this wall, it just opens up this right. Then braking again, remember, don't get too close. And when you get to this point, you want to be on the gas early if you can. There's not going to be a lot going on here. There's not going to be many overtaking opportunities, and you really don't want to give somebody a chance to shove it up the inside around here, because it's really, really not a place for going too wide. And then we're accelerating because it's just a short run up to this next right. So again, at the signs there, that's our turning point. You can cut this. It's not too bad, that one. And then leave it in 2nd. And then you can take this other line if you wish, which is round here. But again, you can see the camber of the track there. It drops off. So the car will understeer a bit there. And it's really easy to get dragged into the wall there. So you might have to just give it a little bit of extra throttle just to help the car rotate and get it pointing where you want it to be. So then we're accelerating hard all the way up to 4th gear. Again, looking for this 200 sign. So we're going to be braking at just before the 200. Apex quite late, nice and tight, and accelerate out. Watch the bumps on exit. Move the car right over to the left just before the 200. Down into 2nd gear, turning quite late, close to the wall, but you want a good run onto this straight. So we're braking here between the 400 and the 300. There's 5, 4, there's 3. Again, turning in late because you want the car over to the right, just to carry a little bit more speed around this left. So just touching the brakes, get the car over to the left, down to 1st gear. Then be patient here, then get on the gas as soon as the car's pointing where you want it to be, like not near the wall, on the gas, flat out, because this is probably the biggest overtaking spot on the circuit. So we're looking for these signs on the right, so we're looking for the 400, just clicking into 6th, so there's the 400, down to 2nd gear, get on the gas early there, up to 3rd, braking now, down to 1st gear, get on the gas early. Looking for those signs. Just trail brake a little bit just to get the car round. Again, we'll try and cut this one here. That's the line you want to be taking. So much quicker than going around the other way. So we're looking for the 200 board there. Braking down to second gear, turning quite late. I was a little bit off there. Move the car right over to the left. Just before the 200, down to second gear, late apex, get on the gas. Because as soon as you get on the gas there, you're going to be carrying it all the way up here to this other big overtaking opportunity. So just after the 400, down into second gear. You can cut this a bit there, look. It's not too bad. Any more than that and you probably will get a slowdown. So just be patient round here. And you've just got to be really careful there with the transition from left to right. It's really easy to lose the car there. So just bear that in mind. Right, we'll try and pick up the pace a tiny bit and try and do a flying lap. So that was a 120. So again, just stick into sixth gear. Looking for the 400. There we go. Get on the gas early there. There we go, that's better. And then open up this right hander. Get on the gas early. Much better. So you've got to brake earlier than you would think there. If you want to take this shortcut, you've got to brake a little bit earlier. So 200 marker just before. Down into second gear. Nice and tight up against the wall. There's the bumps, the oversteer. Just before the 200. Down one into second. Late apex because you want to be on the gas early. And carry that speed all the way up here. So between the 400 and the 300. Down into second gear. The car over to the right to open up the left. So then just be gentle with the throttle and brake here. Be very careful. Down at first gear. Nice and tight. Accelerate. For a flying lap of Long Beach. So 119.4. I got down to 18.6 I think in race practice earlier on. So 18s are definitely doable with this setup. Obviously times will go down when setups are developed, but in the 19s I think is where you want to be this week if you want to do the races that are Long Beach in the GT3s anyway, especially in the Lamborghini. So hope that helped. So there we go. Hopefully that might help one or two of you around Long Beach. It is a tricky circuit. As with every other road circuit, you've got to get as close to the walls as you possibly can. In a race, it doesn't matter if you drag your car down the side of the wall, going up to the turn, you get a 0x, it's not going to matter. But if you do that in qualifying, it will invalidate your lap. So if this did help you, please give this video a thumbs up. Only if it did. If it didn't, don't. And if you want to see more, you can click this icon if you want to subscribe. Straight over there is my latest video, and up in the top corner is a video that YouTube thinks that you might like to watch. As always, thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers.